My P4 class, thank you very much that you are still with me. Do you still need my name? But it's not bad to tell you my name. This is Monica Jonh, again, with the lesson, with the P4 lesson, and that is control of crop pests. Control of crop pests. We learned about some of them in the other lesson, but here we are going to talk about each of them, each of those methods, and how they work. Okay? And this time we shall purposely look at crop rotation. Okay? Now, what do I expect from you as at the end of this lesson? One, you will be able to define the term crop rotation. Okay? Two, you will mention the factors considered when carrying out crop rotation. Three, you will give the importance of crop rotation. And from that, we can continue and look at crop rotation, the definition. One, what is crop rotation? Crop rotation is the growing of different types of crops on the same piece of land seasonally. Mark the words that I'm using. Crop rotation is the growing of different types of crops on the same piece of land seasonally. What do I mean? You plant different crops, but on the same piece of land, but in different seasons. Like this season, you planted cassava. The following season, you change the crop to cabbages. From cabbages, you change to maize, but in the same piece of land. So repeat after me. Crop rotation is the growing of different types of crops on the same piece of land seasonally. Or if you don't want to say seasonally, you can say season after season. Okay? Good. Now, let's look at the factors. Which factors can you consider when you are carrying out crop rotation? One, legumes should be included in the cycle. What have I said? Legumes should be included in the cycle. What are legumes? Legumes are crops that have root nodules on their roots. The root nodules that are found on the roots, they help in storing a bacteria that we call nitrogen fixing bacteria. Nitrogen fixing bacteria. That nitrogen fixing bacteria helps in fixing nitrogen into the soil. They help in what? Fixing nitrogen into the soil. Are you following what I'm saying? Now, that nitrogen helps in the nitrogen help in improving the fertility of the soil. They help the plants, those legumes, to make to produce plant proteins, because all legumes, when I talk about legumes, I mean beans, I talk about groundnuts, I talk about soybeans and others. Okay? Those that have root nodules, they improve on soil fertility. So in the cycle of crop rotation, you must include legumes. If legumes are not there, you are wasting time. Okay? You plant, like this season you plant cereals like maize. The next season you plant there millet. The next season you put there, which other cereal? You put rice. All of them are of the same type. Those are cereals. You know that you will cause the soil to be infertile. You will make the soil to lose its fertility because you are using only cereals. Therefore, you should include legumes. Two, crops with shallow roots should not follow each other. What do I mean with shallow? There are some crops that don't push their roots deeper into the soil. Which crops are those? Millet, sorghum, maize, those that have shallow roots. Because they have shallow roots, they have to produce what we call prop roots on the sides to give them extra support. Now what do? Crops with shallow roots should not follow each other. Meaning that maize should not follow millet. Millet should not follow sorghum because they have shallow roots. Then another thing you can do is crops with deep roots, like now cassava, sweet potatoes, should not follow each other. Crops with deep roots should not follow each other. You alternate. Meaning that this time if you have planted cassava, the next season put what? Put maize. If you have planted maize, it has shallow roots, put beans. You know beans are legumes. So they will even improve soil fertility. Now let's proceed. So let's read it through. Let's go through these factors to consider when you are carrying out crop rotation. 1, legumes should not follow, legumes should be included in the cycle. 2, crops with shallow roots should not follow each other. 3, crops with deep roots should not follow each other. Those are the 3 factors and many more. Next, let's look at the crop rotation cycle. You have seen that this is just one garden. This is just one garden. But they are showing you how crops should follow each other. 1, in the first season, you have planted beans. After beans, you have harvested beans, put maize. After harvesting maize, can go for sweet potatoes. After harvesting sweet potatoes, put sim. Okay? And your land is going to move in that cycle. But these are different seasons. These are different seasons, but it is one piece of land. Okay? You can see the cycle, how it is moving. This time, you change. Sim comes in the bean garden. The beans go to maize garden. Maize go to sweet potato. Sweet potatoes come to the sim and whatever. Okay? Like that. You keep on changing them. Keep on changing them. And your garden is going to do well. And that's the same thing that we are looking at. And you can see wheat, cabbages, some vegetables, what? You can look at them. That's how we can do what we call crop rotation. Okay? And the importance of crop rotation. Why do people carry out crop rotation? 1, it controls soil erosion. It controls soil erosion. When many crops have been grown in the same area for more than one season, the soil becomes stronger. Okay? Those roots, different types of roots, hold the what? The soil. So the soil cannot be taken away by the agents of soil erosion. B, it maintains the soil fertility. Now, what maintains soil fertility are the legumes. The legumes are going to keep that soil what? Fertile. The other one, it controls crop pests and diseases by starving them to death and breaking their life cycle. So it controls pests. How does it control pests? You see, when you keep on changing crops, this season you plant maize. Now when maize are in that garden, the pests for maize start looking for food and get, there is maize somewhere. Let me run and get them. Before they reach that, the season has already come. You have changed it to cabbages. Can they eat cabbages? No, they only want maize. Now, before those ones, the crops, the pests for cabbages realize that let me run and get the cabbages. They find when you have changed it to beans, they can't eat beans. So that process will make them starve. They will starve and die. Others, their life cycle will be broken down and they will die. Okay? And then it controls crop diseases. This one, if the crop pests are dead, the diseases will not also be in your garden. Therefore, I've set for you an activity that you are going to go through. You will do it very well and check the answers properly with the teacher in the next lesson. And for me, I need a good handwriting and organize the work. Thank you for listening to me.